My dear one, before the sun ever rose this morning, grace had already stepped into the room. Before your eyes fluttered open, mercy had already whispered your name. And even though affliction may circle your doorstep, you are standing in the presence of a God who strengthens the spine, steadies the soul, and pours courage into trembling hands. This morning I invite you to take a breath, a deep, deliberate breath. For breath itself is proof that God is still investing in you. Now hear me, child. There will be days when the weight of life presses down like a stone on your chest. When worry tries to steal your peace. When past hurts try to choke the promise of your future. When affliction, whether of the mind, the body, or the spirit, shows up uninvited and unwelcome. But today we declare that affliction does not have the last word. Your strength is not borrowed from circumstance. Your strength is drawn from a well that never runs dry. Morning prayer. Father God, we rise today in your light. We rise today in your strength. When affliction comes with heavy hands, lift us. When sorrow knocks, shield us. When discouragement whispers lies, speak louder. Pour your courage into us like sunlight pouring over a trembling dawn. Make us bold. Make us steady. Make us unshakable in your love. Lord, fortify our thoughts. Strengthen our hearts. Guide our steps into purpose, clarity, and peace. Let every shadow lose its power. Let every burden lose its weight. Let every fear lose its voice. And let your presence be our anchor, firm, unwavering, constant. Amen. My dear heart, before your eyelids even fluttered open this morning, a quiet miracle had already taken place, one that so many rush past without recognizing. Strength, that ancient companion of the human spirit, had already arrived at your bedside. Grace, gentle and patient, stood guard through the night, and mercy, sweet as morning dew, whispered your name long before the sun touched the horizon. You may think you rose simply because your body decided it was time. But no, there was a divine orchestration in motion. God had already prepared strength for you. Strength you hadn't yet asked for. Strength you hadn't yet reached for. Strength planted deep within you before the troubles of the day even dared to begin. The world moves fast, my dear, and affliction moves faster. It tries to greet you at the same hour your alarm does. It slips into your thoughts uninvited, sits on your shoulders with unwelcome weight, and attempts to convince you that today will be heavier than you can carry. But what affliction does not understand, what it cannot comprehend, is that God's strength is always early, always ahead, always present before the first worry takes shape. While you slept, your Creator was preparing the nourishment your spirit would need to rise. While you rested, heaven was at work. You see, strength is not something you conjure by willpower alone. It is not something you manufacture by repeating affirmations or holding yourself together with trembling hands. Strength, the kind that comes from God, is a gift, pure, quiet, and steady. It does not shout, it does not boast. It meets you in the stillness, the silence, the soft places of dawn. And oh, how beautifully it rises with you. Even when you feel drained, exhausted, or unsure, divine strength sits within you like a seed waiting to unfurl. You do not wake up empty. You wake up equipped. Long before affliction wakes, God wakes. Long before fear stirs, God stirs. Long before doubt begins its rehearsal, God has already written a different script for your soul. There is no moment in your morning, no brushing of teeth, no pouring of water, no picking out of clothes, where you are not already wrapped in supernatural strength. It may not always feel loud, it may not always feel grand, but it is always there. You might say, but I feel weak today. I feel burdened. I feel like my strength is slipping. And I would take your hands gently and reply, child, feeling weak does not mean you are without strength. Weakness is a feeling. Strength is a truth. Your emotions can mislead you, but your God never will. Strength is not the absence of fatigue. It is the presence of God within your fatigue. It is the whisper that says, keep going, even when your circumstances say stop. It is the current beneath still waters, the flame beneath cooling embers, the heartbeat beneath a trembling chest. God did not wait for you to be ready to give you strength. He did not require you to earn it, prove it, or perfect yourself before He offered it. No, he placed strength in the very breath he gave you this morning. And breath, my love, is evidence of purpose. If God allowed you to wake, then he has already supplied what you need to walk into this day. He does not send you into battle empty-handed. He does not send you into darkness without light. He does not send you into uncertainty without guidance. Take a moment now, yes, right now, to breathe deeply. Inhale slowly, as if the air itself carries reassurance. Exhale, as if releasing the burdens that do not belong to you. Do you feel it? The steadiness? The subtle shift? That, my dear, is strength awakening. That is the quiet power of God, filling the spaces where fear once tried to live. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it is real, and it is enough. Strength prepared in the morning does not depend on how yesterday bruised you. It does not shrink from old wounds or bow to old fears. It does not tremble in the presence of affliction. It rises, it expands, it stands tall inside you, even when your body feels small. God's strength is not borrowed, it is bestowed. It is not temporary, it is timeless. It is not fragile, it is fortified. And you, my dear, are the bearer of this holy strength. Carry yourself today with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are supplied by heaven. Don't let affliction make you forget who prepared your morning. Don't let worry convince you that you are unprotected. Don't let fear pretend you are alone in your fight. You rose today because God gave your spirit permission to rise. You breathe because God placed strength in your lungs. You think, move, walk, and stand because God himself has already declared that you can. You were strengthened before you ever knew you needed strength. You were supported before the burden arrived. You were equipped before the challenge took shape. That is the nature of God's love, proactive, preemptive, always early, always ready. Let this truth settle into the deepest part of you. You are already stronger than anything that will try to weaken you today because your strength did not come from the world. It came from the one who created it. Walk in that truth. Move in that truth. Live in that truth. And let the day know you did not wake up alone. And you did not wake up weak. Affliction is a curious visitor, my dear. It rarely announces itself. It seldom knocks. It slips in through the cracks of your morning, through the thin places of your heart, through the memories you thought you buried long ago. It stands tall when you are tired and crouches low when you are strong, always seeking the moment when your spirit seems most fragile. But affliction, for all its noise and shadow, has one crucial limitation. It does not have the final say. It may try to touch you, bend you, worry you, but it cannot define you. And it certainly cannot destroy the soul God himself has strengthened. Now hear me gently, the way a mother would speak to her child before a long journey. Affliction is part of life. Yes, it visits the rich and the poor, the young and the old, the faithful and the doubting. It walks into every home, crosses every boundary, and touches every life. But though affliction may visit, it does not have the right to reside unless you invite it in. It may pass through your mind, through your circumstances, through your emotions, but it cannot claim ownership over your identity or your future. There will be mornings when affliction feels heavier than your hope, days when the burdens on your shoulders feel older than your strength, hours when your heart aches in places no one can see. You might whisper to yourself, "Why must I carry this? Why today?" And though heaven may answer in silence, that silence is not absence. It is strength gathering itself inside you. It is resilience forming in the quiet. Before affliction ever showed up, God placed endurance in your bones. Affliction tries to convince you that you are too weak to stand, too small to fight, too broken to rebuild. But the truth, my dear, is that your spirit is older and wiser than any shadow that crosses your path. Your soul carries the memory of every sunrise you survived, every heartbreak you healed from, every fear you faced and conquered. Affliction does not understand that you have a history of rising, a legacy of overcoming, a testimony of getting back up. You've walked through nights that tried to swallow your laughter. You've carried burdens that would have crushed a lesser soul. Yet here you are, still breathing, still believing, still rising. Affliction may try to bend you, but you are not made of straw. You are made of courage. You are made of divine breath. You are made of the same spirit that hung galaxies in their places. In the quiet corners of morning, when the world is still wiping sleep from its eyes, affliction may whisper lies to you. It may tell you that your past disqualifies you from peace, that your mistakes are louder than God's mercy, that your future is narrower than your fear. But I need you to lean in close, child, because here is a truth that affliction hates. You are not defined by what attacks you. You are defined by what God placed within you. Strength and affliction cannot coexist on the throne of your heart. One must bow. And when you choose faith, when you choose hope, when you choose courage, even if your legs tremble, affliction loses its crown. It becomes powerless. It becomes small. The trouble may still be there, but its authority dissolves. Its voice grows thin. Its shadow shrinks. You see, affliction can touch your circumstances, but it cannot touch your calling. It can shake your emotions, but it cannot shake your purpose. It can press against your body, but it cannot cage your spirit. The spirit God placed inside you is a lion, quiet sometimes, but never defeated. It roars not with noise, but with endurance, not with anger, but with resilience, not with force, but with faith. Even on the days when tears run freely down your face, you are not weak. Tears are not the confession of defeat. They are the cleansing of the soul. They make room for strength to rise again. They make space for healing. They allow courage to breathe anew. Affliction tries to make you forget who you are. But let me remind you, you are a soul wrapped in divine intention. You are a vessel of light walking through the corridors of a world that sometimes forgets how to shine. You are a fighter, even when you feel fragile. You are a survivor, even when you feel tired. You are chosen, even when you feel overlooked. Do not let affliction's temporary presence deceive you into believing it has permanent power. Storms roar loudly, but they do not last. Tears fall heavily, but they do not stay. Pain presses hard, but it does not hold eternity in its hands. God is your strength, your shield, your refuge. And where God stands, affliction cannot rule. So walk into your day not with fear, not with hesitation, but with the dignified grace of someone who knows the truth. Affliction may try to weaken you, but you were born to rise. Affliction may strike your path, but you were built to endure. Affliction may challenge your heart, but you are held by a love that never ever breaks. You may bend, darling, but you will not break. You may struggle, but you will not fall. You may cry, but you will not be conquered. Affliction may try, but it cannot win. It cannot have you. It cannot stop you. Because the God who walks beside you is greater than anything that stands against you. Prayer, my dear heart, is not merely the act of speaking into the air or reciting words you memorized long ago. Prayer is the intimate conversation between the trembling parts of your soul and the everlasting strength of your Creator. It is the place where your burdens can finally exhale. It is the moment when the weight you've carried, sometimes silently, sometimes bravely, finds a place to rest beside your own weary shoulders. And when affliction prowls close and trouble knocks at the door of your peace, prayer becomes not just a comfort but a shield, a shelter, and a steadying hand. You see, prayer is not a ceremony reserved for the holy or the perfect. It is not a ritual meant only for the strong. Prayer is the sanctuary of the tired, the refuge of the hurting, the quiet room where the wounded find bandages for their unseen bruises. When you whisper, "Lord, help me," even if those are the only words you can manage, heaven leans close to listen. God does not respond to eloquence. He responds to honesty, to sincerity, to the trembling plea of a heart that wants to be restored. Affliction may try to tighten its grip. It may swirl around you like a storm determined to break your balance. It may come with voices of fear, lies that coil around your thoughts, shadows that pretend to be truth. But when you pray, when you lift your voice, even in weakness, you invite a different sound into your spirit. You welcome the voice of God, steady and sure, louder than fear, but softer than pain. Prayer does not ignore affliction, it outshines it. It does not deny the presence of trouble. It denies trouble the authority to rule over your peace. When you pray, you step into a sacred agreement of protection. You become wrapped in God's covering, shielded by His promises, guarded by His strength. The things that once intimidated you suddenly shrink. The fear that once paralyzed you begins to loosen its grip. The confusion that clouded your mind begins to clear like a morning mist touched by sunlight. And oh, how beautifully God responds to the praying soul. When your thoughts race, He whispers calm. When your heart aches, He lays His hand upon it. When your courage fades, He breathes new courage into the hollow places within you. Prayer does not change the world around you before it changes the world within you. It steadies your shoulders, quiets your spirit, and lifts your chin so you can see beyond today's trouble into tomorrow's promise. I have lived long enough, dear one, to know this truth. A heart that prays is a heart that cannot be conquered. You may be shaken, yes. You may be tested, absolutely. You may feel the weight of affliction trying its hardest to press you down. But if you bow your head even for a moment, you rise stronger than before. Because prayer is the moment when God takes what you are carrying and says, "Let me hold it for you." There are mornings when you feel strong enough to stand tall all on your own, but there are other mornings, quieter, tender mornings, when your spirit whispers, "Lord, I need you to steady me before I step into this day." And darling, that whisper is not weakness. That whisper is wisdom. It is the recognition that while you are capable, you are not meant to carry life alone. It is the sacred understanding that God's strength is the source of your resilience. Prayer also brings peace, and not the kind of peace the world gives, the kind that is conditional, fleeting, fragile. No, this peace is deep. It anchors you. It settles your soul. It places a calmness inside you that defies logic. Others may look at you and wonder how you remain steady while the storm swirls around you. They may ask how you keep breathing while life tries to take your breath away. And you, with a soft smile, will know the answer. Prayer. Prayer is your reminder that you are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not walking through affliction without companionship. God hears every whisper. He sees every tear. He understands every fear before you speak it. And He meets you with protection. Divine, unfaltering protection. When trouble tries to enter through the window of your mind, prayer closes it. When fear tries to cross the threshold of your heart, prayer locks the door. When doubt tries to burrow itself into your spirit, prayer shines a light so bright that doubt cannot hide. And then, dear one, something miraculous begins to happen. Not only does prayer protect your peace, it strengthens your courage. You begin to feel brave again. You begin to walk with your shoulders back and your spirit open. You begin to speak life into your own soul. You begin to realize that affliction may attempt to weaken you, but you are made of a strength that cannot be diminished. Because a praying heart is a courageous heart. A praying mind is a steady mind. A praying soul is an unshakable soul. When you pray, you are not begging for strength. You are tapping into the strength already promised to you. You are connecting yourself to the one who watches you with a love that does not wither, a compassion that does not fade, a patience that does not tire. So do not underestimate the power of a single whispered prayer. Do not disregard the quiet moments when you lift your eyes and say, "Lord, be with me." Do not forget that heaven listens even when you speak softly. Prayer is your anchor. Prayer is your shield. Prayer is your strength. And through prayer, you will rise, steady, protected, and brave, even when affliction tries to shake you to your core. My dear one, let me tell you something about yourself that perhaps the world has made you forget. You were crafted with resilience woven into the very threads of your being. You were shaped by a divine hand that knew the storms you would face long before they were ever born. God did not create you fragile. God did not send you into this life empty-handed or hollow-hearted. You are built with a strength older than your fears, deeper than your disappointments, and wiser than the affliction that tries to shake you. There is a quiet, unspoken power within you, a power many people will overlook because it does not always roar. It does not always flash like lightning or move like wind. But it is there, steady as breath, ancient as sunrise, rooted as a mountain that has survived 1,000 years of storms. This strength does not always announce itself. Sometimes it waits, patient and watchful, in the sacred stillness of your soul. But when you need it, When life presses hard, when your spirit feels worn thin from holding everything together, that is when your resilience rises. You have endured more than you give yourself credit for. There are nights you cried yourself into silence thinking no one saw, no one knew, no one cared, and yet here you are. There were moments you carried heartache like a hidden stone in your chest but still found a way to smile. There were days when grief rested heavy on your shoulders, and yet your feet kept moving, one step, then another, then another. That is resilience, my dear. Not the absence of breaking, but the refusal to stay broken. Life may have treated you harshly at times. Affliction may have visited often, overstaying its welcome. You may have endured losses that carved valleys into your heart. You may have survived disappointments that left you trembling. But understand this, adversity has not weakened you. It has shaped you. Pain has not undone you. It has refined you. Challenges have not destroyed you. They have revealed the strength that was already inside you. You, my dear, are the kind of soul who bends without breaking. You are the kind of person who rises even when the world expects you to fall. You may take time to heal, you may whisper your prayers through trembling lips, you may walk slowly for a season, but you keep walking. That is resilience. People often mistake resilience for hardness, but you are not hard. No, you are soft in all the ways that matter. Soft enough to love again after being hurt. Soft enough to hope again after being disappointed. Soft enough to trust God even when you cannot see how the path will unfold. Softness when rooted in faith is strength in its purest form. Resilience is the quiet agreement between your spirit and your God. I will keep going, even when tears fall, even when fear whispers, even when affliction knocks at the door of your peace. You are not here by accident. You did not survive by coincidence. There is a divine intention to your endurance. God placed resilience inside you because He knew the calling on your life would require it. He knew your purpose would stretch you. He knew your journey would test you. He knew you would walk through valleys that would make others crumble, but He knew you would rise. Do not underestimate yourself. Do not shrink from the truth of your strength. You carry the legacy of every battle you have won, every mountain you have climbed, every dark night you have navigated with only a spark of hope. You are the living proof that resilience is a divine inheritance. Even when you don't feel strong, you are. Strength is not always loud or confident. Sometimes strength is the quiet will to try again. Sometimes it is the soft whisper, "Lord, help me," when your own voice is too tired to say more. Sometimes it is the courage to rest. Sometimes it is the choice to breathe through the pain instead of running from it. You possess the resilience to endure challenges without letting them consume you. You possess the courage to hold on to faith even when fear tries to wrap itself around your ankles. You possess the spirit to rise above the storms that were meant to drown you. And understand this. Your resilience is not something you must earn. It is something God placed within you from the moment your soul took its first breath. It is embedded, encoded, etched into your very being. No trial can remove it. No hardship can erase it. No affliction can weaken it. Resilience grows when life tests you, but its roots were placed inside you by divine design. Walk today with the confidence of someone who knows that resilience is their birthright. When affliction tries to weigh you down, remember that storms may shake the branches, but they do not uproot a tree that God Himself planted. When trouble presses against your spirit, remember you have endured worse and risen stronger. When fear tries to whisper in your ear, remind it that your resilience has silenced louder voices before. You are not fragile, darling. You are fortified. You are not weak. You are wonderfully, fearfully strong. You are not breaking. You are becoming. Let your resilience speak for you where your voice trembles. Let your courage carry you where your strength feels small. Let your faith guide you when the path grows dim. The God who placed resilience inside you walks beside you still, renewing you, restoring you, reminding you that you are built of something holy. My dear one, there is a certain beauty in the way a new day opens itself to you. Morning does not rush toward you with answers, it simply offers you light. It extends a quiet invitation. Will you rise with faith today? Will you walk with boldness even though yesterday tried to bend you? Will you trust that the one who woke you has already prepared your path? Starting your day with faith is not a small thing. It is not a whisper lost in the noise of life. It is a declaration, a choice, a sacred act of courage. When you begin your morning with a heart turned toward God, you are not just stepping into another day, you are stepping into divine intention. You are saying, I trust you more than I fear what may come. Faith in the morning is like opening the windows of your heart and allowing the breath of God to sweep through every room. It refreshes, it renews, it steadies your trembling places, it plants courage where doubt once sat, heavy and unmoving. And when affliction tries to greet you before your strength has had a chance to rise, faith steps forward and says, not today. Oh, how life will test you, how the world will pull at you, how responsibilities will weigh you down, how unexpected storms will gather without warning. But you, my dear, are equipped with something stronger than circumstance. You have the power to choose how you begin your day. You have the authority to speak life into your morning. You have the sacred ability to walk boldly, not because life is easy, but because God is present. Boldness is not loudness, it is not arrogance, it is not the absence of fear. Boldness is the gentle firmness of spirit that says, I will not shrink, I will not fold, I will not bow before the pressures that try to steal my peace. Boldness is rooted in belief, belief that God is with you, belief that your steps are guided, belief that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Sometimes faith looks like a loud hallelujah, sometimes boldness sounds like a confident prayer. But more often, my dear, faith is quiet, boldness is steady. It is the whisper that says, I can face this day. I am not walking alone. I am stronger than the shadows that follow me. I am guided by a God who has never failed me yet. When you begin your day like this, you declare that trouble may exist, but it will not reign. Affliction may attempt to weaken you, but it will not take your joy before the morning has even found its rhythm. Starting the day with faith is like putting on armor not made of metal or chain, but of trust, hope, and divine assurance. There is a dignity that comes with walking into your day with your head lifted even just a little higher than yesterday. There is a holy strength that settles into your bones when you refuse to let fear write your story. There is a beauty in choosing to trust even when you cannot trace every detail of God's plan. Faith in the morning places your heart in alignment with heaven. It reminds you that whatever is coming has already been seen, already been handled, already been shaped by the very hands that formed you. You do not have to know how everything will unfold. You simply have to trust that the one who holds the day holds you too. And, oh, the transformation that happens when you move through your morning with this kind of faith. The burdens feel lighter, not because they vanish, but because you are no longer carrying them alone. The fears lose their voice, not because they never whisper, but because your belief speaks louder. The obstacles seem smaller, not because they shrink, but because your courage grows. Boldness is the fruit of faith. It blooms when trust takes root. It expands when fear tries to tighten its grip. And it shines brightest when the darkness tries hardest to hide it. Let me tell you something. Gently but firmly, God did not wake you to walk timidly through your life. He woke you to walk confidently in His promise. He woke you to step into the fullness of your calling, even if your knees tremble. He woke you to shine the light. He placed inside you, even in places that feel dim. He woke you because there is something today that only you can bring into the world. A kindness, a word, a prayer, a strength. So when you rise in the morning, rise with intention. Rise knowing you carry heaven's strength. Rise knowing your steps are guided. Rise knowing you are not a victim of affliction, but a victor over it. Begin your day by grounding your spirit in God's presence. Whisper your gratitude. Lift your eyes. Breathe deeply. Let faith settle in like morning dew. Let courage stand tall within you. Let boldness become your companion as you step into the unknown. You may not know what this day holds, but you know who holds you. You may not see the whole path, but you see enough to take the next step. You may not feel strong in every moment, but you are strengthened in every moment. Start your day strong. Not because life is gentle, but because God is faithful. Start your day with faith, even when fear knocks early. Start your day with boldness, even when your heart feels tender. Start your day knowing that you are equipped for whatever awaits. You are not stepping into this day alone. You are stepping into it wrapped in love, grounded in purpose, and strengthened by a God who walks beside you with every breath you take.